himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nurov in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back on a Tuesday evening, and it is the UK SimRacers MX5 Season 3 of 2024 is officially the autumn season, and it's round 1 of the autumn season live from the Snetterton 300 circuit. I'm James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth as I was for all of last season and as I will be for all of this season. It is Mr. Tom Cairns. Let's bring you up to date with the current standing situation. Now, this is how they finished. Obviously, the Pro-Ams will reset going into this season, but this is how they finished last season. Ollie Ricks come out to be the AM champion, and then Colin Sanson and Charles Kellerman was the 1, 2, 3. Will that change going into this season? Well, time's going to tell, but everybody else has got to up their game a little bit in the pro standings. Well, it was Jamie Ayres who took the win on the final race of the season there, with Dan Hunt in second, with Jamie Wilson finishing third. And again, the likes of Steve Heffer, Pete Newman, PVG and stuff like that will have to up their game. Going into the overall, it was Dan Hunt who's leading after the first 2 seasons. This is the final season here. Jamie Ayres in second and Jamie Wilson in third. Then Pete Newman, PVG, Ralph Cullen and Steve Hefford. Colin Sanson is currently 8th overall, but is leading the AMs of all of the AMs, with Charles Kellerman, Tom Griffiths, Dan Wright, Fiona Siddons and the rest behind him there as well. Of course, the overalls will not reset, but the Pro and AMs will. Good evening, Colin Sanson. Good evening, Fiona Siddons there, and good evening, Mr. Tom Cairns. Right, hoping that there's not a continual problem with...
Right there, James, hello to everyone. We are here.
You're back, sir, right? Oh. Seems like Tom's disappeared again. Hopefully he will resolve his connection, and hopefully he might come back as well here, and you never know. We'll keep an eye out and listen if he does come back in. But it's going to be a very interesting season this season as well. Let's give you a quick rundown of the track choice. Well, it's the Snetterton 300 circuit today, with Donington National in round 2, then Brands Hatch in round 3, then Cadwell Park in round 4. And then behind that, you've got Silverstone Legacy South. So it's an all-UK run with Alton Park, Brands Hatch, Indy in there as well, for at least the first, 2, 4, 6, 7 rounds. It's all UK. And then we're going to Road America VIR Fall, then Barber Motorsport, and then we're on to New Hampshire Road Circuit, and then we finish with a Silverstone GP New Circuit. So I'm not quite sure what that one will entail, but we will listen out for that, and we'll find out what is going on there again. Let's try one more time here before, and we'll see if Mr. Tom Cairns can hear us. Tom, can you hear me again? As I wait patiently.
Hello, yes, I can hear you, James. Hopefully you can hear me better than previously. And yeah, if you're seeing drivers like Dan Hunt, who's missed the last couple of rounds of the summer campaign, but he's back this evening and back on top of the timing pages in the closing minutes of this practice session ahead of Pete Newman and Tom Griffiths, someone of which who's not been involved in UK SimRacers for a long time, actually, so he'll be looking to get up to speed as soon as he can, as will Mr. Craig Jones, who's missed the entire of the summer campaign due to issues of at his end, but it's good to see he's back in the action for tonight.
Yeah, he is back, and I know his rig was set up, and he's laid his new flooring here as well, so he's done a good job getting his flooring down. Bless him, he's been a busy boy today on his day off, has Craig Jones. We are going into qualifying just very, very shortly. We're just watching Dan Hunt come up through Nelson as he goes down in. Nope, he doesn't go into the bomb hole. He decides to pull out and go off to the grid. So we'll wait for the qualifying to kick in. They will have 15 minutes of qualifying, and we'll see how they get on. Interesting season last season as well. We got Ollie Ricks, who had a great season in the summer season, wrapping up the AMS. Didn't get promoted. As far as I'm aware, he's still in the AMS. And Jamie Ayres wrapping up the pros. And then, of course, in the spring season, which was the very first season, Tom Griffiths took the win in the pros, while Charles Kellerman took the win in the AMS. So it's going to be very tight going into this final season. Right, it looks like again we have lost Tom again, and well, hopefully this can be resolved. Otherwise, we might have to just go with a bit of a solo on this one, I'm afraid, with Tom having the continued issues that he seems to be having at this moment in time. And hopefully we will manage to get him back in the booth at some point. We will find out, but we are into qualifying here now. 13 minutes on the clock. Let's try one more time if he's back here again. And Tom, are you back? Tom? Not sure.
Yeah.
Tom
can you hear me, James?
Yeah, this is very interesting. This it's turning into like an almost solo broadcast here. Your mic going in and out.
Yeah, but that's a connection at my end, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So, but we are seeing the drivers on circuit now for qualifying, and he will take the first pole of the 4 races we've got for this evening. Dan Hunt looking very, very quick at the end of that practice session. He could well be one of the favourites to be at the head of the field.
Yeah, as these guys come around to start their fastest lap. Gary Walsh is back again. Good evening, people. Good evening, Gary. You beautiful man. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you all is well, and hopefully you're all good there, sir. And yes, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us on that one. And yes, well, hopefully we'll have 2 of us, and once we'll send Tom on his way to go and try and resolve his mic issues that he's got at the moment, and we'll see if anybody else would be available to jump in with us here, because obviously Tom seems to be having deep issues with his microphone. Let me just let me see if I can get somebody in here. Give us 2 seconds, guys. We will be back very, very shortly. Right, bear with us, guys, as well. We're just trying to sort out Tom's situation with his issues here. We're looking to see if we will get a replacement in, as we can't seem to keep getting Tom's microphone working correctly. Give me 2 secs. We'll still keep fighting on it. Right. Okay, just bear with us there, guys, as we are looking at getting replacements in, as Tom has got an issue with his microphone. We are in qualifying. Pete Newman out in front at the moment on a 206.380. And then we will have a 206.858 here as well. And we'll keep going behind with Tom Griffiths, 206.999. Hopefully we might be able to get somebody here as well. And as I continue to fight fires in the background there as well. And hopefully we'll have somebody joining me once again, as Tom will be going away to sort out his mic issues here. And hopefully we'll have somebody coming in and come and join me, which I believe the knight in shining armour, the man himself, Mr. Alex Goldschmidt, has jumped in the booth to save me. Alex, how are you, dear sir?
Long time no speak, amigo. It has been a while, and it's been a while since I've been on the JPB network, and great to be called into action. James rang the Alex Goldschmidt bat phone this evening.
Yes.
I was very quick to respond. So, well, you got me you got me to join you on a fantastic series that we all love here, UkSimracers, of course. Is that Snetterton we're at?
It is. We're on the Snetterton 300 layout here this evening as well. We are round 1 of the full season. Have to bear with Alex on that one. Phil, we've had a change of commentator due to Tom having issues with his mic. Alex has jumped in. Alex has only just literally come along for this evening, guys, as well. He's not been here for last season or the season before, so give him a minute, and I'm sure he'll settle in nicely into this situation and come and save me from doing 2 hours
that
on
sounded
completely
overdramatic,
solo.
that did right there, bloody hell.
Mate, at one point I had literally had to sit here and think, oh my dearie me, I'm going to be doing 2 hours on me Todd, which wouldn't have never been good for anyone.
Well, you know what? It's a great circuit, great one-make series. Have at it, and let's slip the dogs of war, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. We're in with 5 minutes left of qualifying before we go into the first 15 minutes. And then we'll have the second 15 there, and then we will take a break to go to race number 3, and then we will go on to race number 4, which will bring you up the reverse grids a little bit later on. So there you go as well. Snetterton, Alex, I know you've been around the world, you've been around the UK. Have you visited Snetterton 300?
Yes, I have. I was there when a certain Powermax Chevy Cruze hit the fence and nearly took out an ITV Sport cameraman a few years ago. But it is a circuit that's literally about an hour and 20 away from me, to be honest with you. And it's got this. Okay, yes, it's flatter than the Netherlands. Let's be completely honest with you. But it does have its own characteristics, and it's a circuit that's evolved over the years. Not too far of the abode. I was just about to say. Someone definitely, Tom Griffiths, you do not need to be doing your inner Travis Pastrana through the bomb hole, I'm afraid.
Yes, there as well. The current layout of course was from 2011 and a 1991, 2010 layout and a 1990 plus layout. Didn't have any of the in section. It was literally from Riches round to Sears, up the Rivette straight through the S's, round the Coram, lap done, jobs are good 'un. But they've added the middle section here as well, and then gave us 3 layouts to play with. The Snetterton 100, which is the inner short layout. The 200 is the old 1990s layout, I suppose you could call it, just with Montreal in turn number 2 being a little bit steeper of a cutback. And then, of course, we've got the Snetterton 300, which includes all parts of this circuit here as well. What do we think, Alex, with certain parts of this? You know, we've got a fast turn 1. It's not really a braking zone, but that turn 2 going into Montreal is a braking zone. It's going to be very tough for them.
It is. I mean, Riches is a flat-out right-hander. You are going to be at full throttle going through there. Then heading into Montreal, which I think is now renamed Wilson's after the late Justin Wilson, IndyCar racer. That's when you've really, really got to be on your A game, because you're going all the way down the gearbox. You're going to hit first gear. It is going to be like crawling around a roundabout. And that's where you've got to really line things up. You can run a little bit wide, especially with these Mazda MX5s if you're 3, maybe even 4 wide into turn 2, but then it's the infield section as we again see more off tracks. Darren McLean that time going through into the infield section off of turn number 3, you know, just very, very wide. But yeah, it is about a combination of fast technical parts of the circuit, but then you've got the real sort of where you've got to have a big set of cojones, and that's going through underneath the bridge into Brundle, into Coram, through the bomb hole, and then you've got that final left-hander, and that's not a picnic either, James. So when we do go racing, folks, believe you me, there are more than going to be fireworks. I think there are going to be rocket ships. In other words, Mazda MX-5s spiraling out of control and maybe clashing with the barriers somewhat.
Yes, I think this could be one of these ones, especially round turn 1, where we could, if anybody's going too wide, they could be on the outside, and that's never going to be a good idea, because all on the outside you've got grass there as well. Gary Walsh, I love that comment. You would have survived, James. You're a pro, remember? Thank you, Gary, for that one, but I'm sure you wouldn't have just wanted to listen to me for 2 hours, let's put it that way. It's a lot more interesting bringing Alex in to the booth there. You can see on the right, on the left-hand side there, Alex, nothing but grass on the outside of turn 1. 2 wide, 3 wide, which we've seen with the UK SimRacers. It could just completely go wrong, and one of them could be out there hugging a barrier.
Yes, at quite a rapid rate of knots as well. To be honest with you, James, I mean, yeah, turn 2 has been was Montreal, is now known as Wilson. But then you look at how many names are, I wouldn't say masquerading as corners, but are epically put as corners. We've got Wilson, we've got Hamilton, we've got Brundle, we've got Agostini, Murray's, Senna, Palmer, you know, so the list goes on and on, to be completely truthful. But Pete Newman, well, the Pure Sims driver in the 118 actually, he's changed his number since last season, I think, the last time I commentated on him, which was a couple of seasons ago. But yeah, it was just really, you know, he's one of the usual peddlers, Dan Hunt, Tom Griffiths, Jamie Ayres. And at least we get to see PVG have a reset from 0 and start going at it like the Clappers.
Yeah, he didn't have the greatest summer season. PVG finished 8th overall last season for Pete Van Gool. He even finished behind Ollie Ricks in the AM category. Ollie there did an absolutely great job dominating the AMs last season, but the overalls, PVG was down in 8th place. Jamie Ayres took it. Dan Hunt missed the last round, and Jamie Ayres pipped him at the post. But let's bring you up the grid for race number 1. It will be our Pure Sims 118 Pete Newman with Dan Hunt in 2nd, Tom Griffiths in 3rd, then Jamie Ayres in 4th. Then you got PVG and Ollie Ricks in 5th and 6th. Then Ralph Cullen and Steve Heffer, Colin Sanson, Jamie Wilson, Charles Kellerman, and Fiona Siddons, and Darren McLean, Andy Littler, Sir Alan Toon, Mick Bowery, and Craig Jones is back, and Steve Hansford is bringing up the rear there as well. So it's going to be very, very exciting. Hold on to your hats. We're going to have 4 races. This is going to be the first one here, Alex. Any predictions? What you think's going to who's you going to think come out on top?
First round, first race of every season, unpredictable. So I'm not going to call a winner on this one.
Oh, you get splinters in your bottom, Mr. Goldschmidt.
I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm just being honest. I'd rather say, well, look, I don't want splinters in my backside anyway, James. Thank you very much for reminding that when we commentated on this series previously together. Still waiting for Mr. Hansford to rock up at the back of the grid. But, yeah, red lights are coming on, buddy. Over to you for the starts.
Right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ladies and gentlemen, round 1 is green. Newman did not get off that line in the first phase of the launch there. You can see Dan Hunt running straight up alongside him. Pete Newman on the inside in the blue and white. Hunt in the red and white. Round rich as they go. Hunt still kept it in there around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold it? Pete Newman's looking to keep the inside. He's going to have to be very, very late on the brakes. He is late on the brakes. Traditionally, Pete Newman escalate as Dan Hunt has a little bit of a blink, loses positions there as well. And now we've got Pete Newman, Tom Griffiths, JB Ayres and PVG as they go running down into Palmer for the first time here, Alex. Newman survived the start, didn't quite get the start though.
Yeah, Griffiths just runs a little bit wide on the run down to Agostini, but Newman's got a nice little gap now. It's about 0.4 of a second. As looks like Cullinan's got Hefford up the inside. That's through into the left at Agostini. Now they're going to go into the left-right combination here at Hamilton and then into Oggies before Williams next up. And yeah, top 5 starting to have a little bit of an early breakaway. Steve Hefford has got through. Nice little move on the inside of Hamilton on Cullinan. Sansom is waiting in the wings. And then you've got Rickson Kellyman. And then Wilson about to make it 3 wide on the run down into Oggies. Be careful, lads. And now they're going to go through into Williams. Wilson runs a little bit wide. Fiona Siddons is not too far behind. Neither is McLean. Neither is Littler. There's a 5-car quintet squabble here. 2 wide at the front, 3 wide at the back on the run through down the Bentley Straight into Nelson.
Yeah, you can see Jamie Wilson, Charles Kellerman and Siddons there into the left-hander, into the right-hander they go of Nelson. There was contact. Oh. Wilson's gone, and Wilson's gone. We knew there was likely to be contact with Charles Kellerman. There was contact with Charles Kellerman, and we'll have a look back at that one in a moment. Andy Littler now in front of Siddons. You can see on the front end, it's Newman, it's Griffiths. Griffiths has returned this season, missed the whole of the last season. Don't forget, he does IRL real racing, does Tom Griffiths, and he did miss the whole entire season last season, but he is back and he's looking for the opening round, the opening heat win here, tracking Pete Newman at this moment in time as well. Round the right-hander of Richards coming in to what is now, as I said, Wilson's earlier on, of course, previously that was at Montreal, but Newman, Griffiths, Ayres and PVG. There's still quite a gap here, Alex, even down to Darren McLean, where it's 3.6 seconds to Ollie Riggs. You know, it's always breaking away in 2 packs. We've got McLean, Littler, Siddons, Jones and Kellerman, and then Newman, everybody else down into 9th. Riggs had a flying season last season, absolutely outstanding, and is now nestling at the back end of these pros with Colin Sanson just in front of him.
Yeah, it looked like Fiona Siddons was trying to get looking up the inside through into Palmer's on Andy Littler for 4th place in the AM classification. There you see the Pro and AM splits in where they're positioned in their class, let alone where they are out on track at the moment. We're running on board with the Safeguard 95 of Ollie Ricks, turning into the right-hander here at Oggies, and it's a short shoot up towards the right-hander at Williams that brings them onto the Bentley Straight. And, well, it is going to be a close one. You can get a real good amount of tow, probably about a 5 to 8 mile an hour increase in terms of slipstream from the car in front, and Ricks is gathering pace, is going to look to the left-hand side here through into Brundle underneath the bridge, then into the right at Nelson. Ricks has got through for the AM class lead. Nicely done, I must say, from the number 95. Has a little bit of an off at the bomb hole, but fair play on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Ollie Ricks taking the lead in the AMs. There's some more AMs fighting it out down here. Charles Kellerman with Craig Jones. Craig rejoined again this season, missed the whole entire last season. And Fiona Siddons just in front here. So it's going to be whether or not how Craig is going to be. I know he's been practicing. He's been practicing in the rain. He's been practicing in the dry. So let's see how he gets on and if all of them hours of practice have done him good here, Alex. Pete Newman, the man himself, the Iceman generally at the front of this field here. Going to be very, very tough for people to clear Pete. He just positions his car in a way that just makes it incredibly difficult.
Yeah, so does Jamie Ayres as well. And he's got the Flying Dutchman, PVG, Pete Van Gool just behind him, but also Dan Hunt, who's just set the new fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 6.205. We're now on to lap 3, heading through out of Palmer, and it's going to be you can just see they're using that AstroTurf runoff as wide as they possibly dare. A little bit of a clip on the grass there coming out of Palmer on the run down to Agostini by Dan Hunt, but we normally have seen the likes of Newman, Griffiths, Ayres, PVG, Hunt. Also, Steve Hefford has just dropped down into 9th position. He was at 1 point ahead of Ralph Cullinan, so maybe a slight bit of an accident. Well, they're going to go into the left-hander here at Agostini. Now, what happens to Hefford? Oh. Is he going to get a... Oh, now, was there a little bit of contact? I couldn't really see from that camera angle, but Hefford was around, lost 2 places. I think maybe Cullinan might have been a little bit over-eager with the steering input here. So let's have a look from the helicam shot. In we go. Bang! Yeah, there it is. A little bit of contact.
Yeah, he does. His front left hits Steve's right front. Griffiths now just about to make it a move past Pete Newman into the left-hander, coming into Nelson's now. There you go. Griffiths has taken it. Oh, Newman hit that car. He had that curb, that sausage curb on the inside. He had the car up too wide now. Round the bomber hole they go, and it's Newman, Ayres, PVG, Dan Hunt. Ralph Cullinan's 2.2 seconds back. He's got Ollie Ricks and Colin Sanson. Then we've got a 5-second gap now to Hefford, who's got McLean and Andy Littler. 4 seconds behind that with Jamie Wilson, Kellerman, Siddons and Littler. Where did Craig Jones go? Well, I can hear you scream, and this is what has happened to Craig Jones here. He's on the inside of Jamie Wilson. There's no room. His front left, Charles Kellerman's rear right, and unfortunately for Craig, he's spinning round and round. Easily done though on a circuit like this. Yeah,
more times around than Pete Burns from Dead or Alive in that one, I must be completely honest with you. All Dan Hunt's also going, is he trying to find the mysterious Joker lap that's stationed somewhere out of Riches, I think, because that's where I've seen it, you and I have seen it both in a lot of sim racing competitions where you throw the car in a bit too eagerly into Riches, you will find the grass very, very quickly. But yeah, coming back to what you were saying about how Pete Newman walloped the curb going through into Nelson, and it literally pitched the right-hand side into the air. It lost him half a second because Griffiths was away like a scolded cat.
Yeah, I think that was the thing, wasn't it? You can see the problem was for him, though, Alex, as well. Griffiths had that natural racing line. Newman had the very tight line because he had the Jamie Ayres alongside him. So he had to try and tighten it up. But it's like anything, right? When you tighten it up, you end up losing a lot of time. Whoa, somebody's just gone absolutely...
Oh, PVG.
Oh, dearie me. Shot off like an absolute rocket.
Okay, Dan Hunt's towards the outside of him, and
ball
isn't touch. Oh, and he 360s, and he misses the barriers. Thank God for that.
Yeah, but unfortunately for PVG, he's dropped himself down into 8th now. Here for Pete Van Gool, Griffiths, Newman, Ayres, and you've got Ricks, Cullinan and Sanson still together. Their guys are not quitting on this racing. Neither is Andy Littler, and Charles Kellerman are running too wide currently down into the Brundle before they go into Nelson here. Charles Kellerman does go through. Jamie Wilson sitting in behind with Andy Littler. Charles Kellerman and Mr. Wilson cleared Andy Littler. Oh,
Code Brown.
Too wide into the bomb hole as well at this moment in time. Wilson's on the outside. Kellerman's going to try and run around the inside. I think Wilson's going to carry enough speed. Is Littler going to be able to follow him round as well? Into the left-hander of Cora, and in through Coram into Murray's now. And Kellerman just about hangs on to that moment. But as you say, Alex, proper change of underwear for Charles Kellerman.
Yes, that's going to be a clean-up on R3 as well at the same time. But he was lucky to hold on to that one. Nevertheless, he is coming back at Wilson. They're 2/10 apart meantime. The battle between Fiona Siddons and Andy Littler carries on unabated, heading through into turn 1 here at Riches, and then the run down to turn 2 here at Wilson. It's going to be hard on the brakes. You've got to really get the car down the gearbox very quickly whilst braking in a straight line. And that's the best approach you can do. And probably with regards to Wilson, you come through Riches, swing the car out a little bit wide on the exit, try and keep the car to as left of the circuit as you can as possible, then shift down the gears, brake in a straight line, and it should be a pretty easy way to negotiate it. However, the battle between the top 3, Newman, Griffiths and Ayres, covered by about half a second, and Ayres is now getting very racy behind Tom Griffiths, the number 1 in P2.
Yeah, Newman there with Tom Griffiths. That overtake took place on the run down into Riches just on the beginning of this lap. But here is going to be the roundabout situation. Is Newman going to be able to hang on as they're going into the left-hander of Brundle now? It looks like Griffiths is not close enough. Ayres is not close enough. Hunt's dropping back slowly. These 3 slowly dropping the DOF reality of Dan Hunt. And I do say slowly. I mean, at pigeon steps here as he drops out to half a second. Yeah, he is, isn't he? He's dropping him. They are dropping him, but it is literally like a tenth every little corner or something. So he's losing a bit of time, but it is very slow for Dan Hunt as Newman and Griffiths. Now, this is where Newman got Griffiths last lap. It'd be interesting to see if Griffiths can return the favour.
Yeah, but that depends on how much overspeed he gets. Ollie Ricks coming very wide out of Murray's, heading onto the centre straight. We've got about 4.25 minutes to go. Now on to lap 6. Griffiths is about 2/10 behind. He needs to be a little bit closer than that, probably about 1.5 or less. And you've got a really good run. And you can see there already that the gap nearly doubled going through into Riches. It seems like Newman's just a bit more confident, knowing where to place the car. And of course, you look at the amounts of success that the top 4 drivers have had between them in terms of race wins here in the UK SimRacers series. But shout out to Ollie Ricks, who is keeping Ralph Cullinan and his nearest closest competitor in the AM class, Colin Sansom, in the number 24 at bay, and they're covered by 7/10. So, folks, what you find if you're a newcomer to UK SimRacers MX5 racing, it is absolutely brilliant. Battles up and down the order from pro to am, no matter what circuit we go to, and things are getting even closer still. Ayres is just waiting for that opportunity to get past Tom Griffiths, but it's not going to be an easy one. This is a difficult circuit to overtake at. Now through into the right-hander here at Williams, a kick up of the dirt by Griffiths once and twice, once through Oggies, once through Williams. And now Ayres has got a run on him. Newman switches to the left-hand side of the circuit. Griffiths switches to the left and then goes to the right and finds that Ayres is to his outside, going through into Brundle. Great move there by Ayres to get through and make the move complete by Nelson, but Griffiths still around the outside and gets back through for second. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, he had to tighten it up again, didn't he, Jamie Ayres, being on that inside line. We spoke about it earlier on with Newman as well, tightening up, being on the outside of Brundle and tightening up Nelson just doesn't seem to work. You cannot carry the speed through there. And unfortunately for Ayres, he had nothing of a response coming out the other side with Tom Griffiths. Griffiths just made it his own, said, thank you very much, I'll have that. And he broke it away and took it away from Ayres again and said, you're not going to get through. And that's going to be the general theme going there. You don't want to be on the outside of Brundle to have to tighten up the inside for Nelson. You're probably better off sitting behind each other and then going down into the bottom hole and trying to make the move coming out of Murray's to that run down into Riches. We've got Steve Hefford and PVG, both from the Momos, fighting out as they're going around turn 1 as well. Obviously, both drivers trying to recover back here from somewhat as PVG is down 3, Steve Hefford down 1. We're probably going to have one more lap, which would make it an 8-lap race here, Alex, as well. As we go into race 2, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys battle this.
Yeah, I completely agree there, James. I mean, the thing is, the first race is always the litmus test. And you've got to sort of, you're going out of the frying pan into the fire, and you're like, okay, we've reset. What do I need to do to get better this season? Because everyone, it doesn't matter whether they won the championship, there's always there's always that quest for improvement and the pursuit of perfection, so to speak. And you know, what you don't want to do there, PVG, is keep two wheels on that grass. You're flirting with disaster there here at Snat. And then as I say that, Steve Hefford is exactly the same going through to the next right-hander. So not exactly an easy circuit as we alluded to. It's very flat. I think the only bumpy part of it is going through the bomb hole before Coram and into Murray's. But again, look, they are literally doing some grass mowing whilst they're racing around the track at the moment, as we are 30 seconds away from the end of the race. Well, yeah, I think you're right. We've got this and one more still to go, so 8 laps as Hefford. He's T-boned him. He's T-boned him, and they both get away with it pretty much scot-free. And I think PVG might be having a bit of a word in Steve Hefford's ear between now and race 2, as they have to say, "Oi, what was that about?"
Yeah, this is going to be very, very close. This is either going to be the checkered or this is going to be the white flag. 3, 2, 1. Barney's gone on holiday. I can't tell you what it was because he weren't there.
It was 1 second. So I think we are on the white flag lap.
Just about. So that's going to put it either a 7 or an 8 lap race for race number 2, depending on obviously the reverse and who's up the front. It also obviously is timer based, so we will see how they get on. But Ollie Ricks with Colin Sanson tucked in. These guys having a battle in the AMS and have been fighting for most of last season as well. Ricks did take the championship in the end, and he wrapped it up by 151 points over Colin Sanson. But I'm sure Colin's going to want to come back and start, as he means to go on here and try and dethrone Ollie Ricks. There was a rumour that he was moving up to pros. Nothing's confirmed as of yet. I am waiting for the final response there from Jamie Ayres, obviously the admin here, whether or not Ollie Ricks will jump up into pros. So you may see a change going into next week. But yeah, either way here, Alex, I think you can safely say we've had a great race 1 and it's not over yet.
No, Griffiths is trying to thread the eye of the needle into Williams for the final time, then into Bentley Straights. If he wants to do something, he's got to really launch that car up the inside of the 118 from Pure Sims. Now, again, we're seeing that same tactic. Newman trying to break the toe by going to the left-hand side of the Bentley Straight. Now into Brundle, underneath the bridge. So through the left, into the right here at Nelson. He's got to be very, very careful of that sausage curb, and he launches it again. But through into Bomb Hole for the final time. Just Coram, Murray's, the centre straight beckons, and Griffiths is trying to go for it.
Yeah, Griffiths looking up there. You can see he's climbing all the way on the inside now. He's going to try and keep that inside line going into Murray's, the left-hander. Is he going to be able to hold it? I think it is going to be Pete Newman is just going to lock it up on that apex and say, nope, not this time around. It's now a run down to the line. The line is quite far down. It's just literally, you'll see it come into the top of your picture now. But I think it is going to be Pete Newman. Newman does wrap up the win in race number 1 with Tom Griffiths and Jamie Ayres. And it looks like Ollie Ricks is, started where he left off. Took the win in the AMS with Colin Sanson behind him there. Great racing as we've had. What's happening with Steve Hefford and Pete Van Gaal after they've had contact? I think Hefford, to be fair, is going to be gentlemanly and just push PPG over the line, which is what he does do there as well. But Craig Jones having a battle with Sir Alan Toon. Their front round now coming into Coram through the left-hander of Murray's, and we'll see if Craig can make that move going down to the start line here. Be very, very interesting for him.
Yeah, well, it depends on the run you get out of Murray's and down the centre straight. Well, he's going to launch it to the left, and Craig Jones will run to the line and get there first ahead of Tooney, Sir Alan Toon, and they round out 15th and 16th. We're just waiting for the legend that is always at the end of most JPB intros for every stream. The one, the only, Mr. Mick Barry is going to make his way across the line. Of course, no Steve Hansford making it to the checkered, but 17 drivers make it to the flag with Mick Barry bringing the result clothing 675 Mazda across the line. But great wins by both Pete Newman and Ollie Ricks in both respective Pro and Am classes there, James. What a way to start the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very, very exciting here going into the next 3 races of the evening. But Pete Newman is your winner. He takes the overall, he takes the Pro. there. Tom Griffiths in second with Jamie Ayres. That's your 1, 2, 3 in the pros. Then you've got Dan Hunt, Ralph Cullinan in fourth and fifth. Ollie Ricks takes the win in the AMS with Colin Sampson in second place. They're separated away from PVG and Steve Hefford from Darren McLean, who rounds out the podium in 10th place. And you've got Jamie Wilson, Charles Kellerman, Fiona Siddons, Andy Littler, Craig Jones, Alan Toon, and Mick Barry. Steve Hansford did not take to the start. We are going to have a little bit of a warm-up, just 5 minutes here as well, before we move into race number 2. If that's race 1, we've then got 2, 3, and 4, and generally in 4 we have rain, Alex, as well. Being that we're at a British circuit, how can we not have rain? Let's be real.
Yeah, especially with the Tempest Racing Service now fully deployed on a lot of the classes that we have here on the iRacing service. So, yeah, British racing wouldn't be British racing without a little bit of a spittle of water from the man upstairs.
Yes, and it makes it always a lot more interesting. As we say, we'll give you a quick rundown of the calendar again here. We're Snetterton 300 this week. Then we've got, as I say, Donington National next week, Brands Hatch GP the week after that, Cadwell Park the week after that, Silverstone Legacy South, and Alton Park International. It's an all Great Britain first 6 rounds here, and then to top it off, we had one more with Brands Hatch Indy for round 7. So they don't actually leave the UK until the 29th of October, where we end up going to Road America. Then we've got VIR, Barber, New Hampshire, which is our American tour. And then we've come back again, which may change yet. Nothing's decided on whether or not we're going to come back to the full Silverstone GP layout for the last race of the season. An all-British 7 rounds, Alex, and the introduction of Cadwell Park that was new on the service this season.
Let's see if anyone can launch a Mazda MX5 up the mountain, Knight Rider style, you know, try and hit the old turbo boost, let's say, because that is, well, I mean, if these cars go skyward over that part of the circuit, I'm going to say one thing: be prepared for rolling, 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 in the words of Limp Bizkit.
Absolutely. I think Cadwell Park coming is great. Don't get me wrong, being a local to Thruxton, I would have loved to have seen the fastest circuit in the UK brought into the service. I know they were talking about scanning that, so whether or not that's actually coming as well. But Cadwell Park, though, is still a great circuit to have. Different layout to most of the other UK circuits. Just looking at Cadwell Park, it's got a Zolder-esque beginning, or a Zandvoort-esque beginning, and then you kind of throw a little bit of Coda S's in there, which is obviously based off Maggotts and Beckett's. It's a very different makeup of circuit altogether as Cadwell.
Yeah, it is, and you know, it does, from the overhead, it does look very much like the Zolder, but then when you get into, you know, turns 11, 12, you know, through from 11 to 17, where, you know, you've got this, you know, this
Wiggle
really
section.
nice sort of like start to it,
Yeah.
where you go into Coppers, which is very much like Asda at Zolder, and then the you know, Charlie's at turn 3, then you got the Park Straight all the way down to Park at 4, then Chris Curve, the Gooseneck at 6 and 7, then you got Mansfield, and then it gets really, really technical from 11 when you then go to the mountain, and then you got the Hall Bends, the Hairpin, and then Barn at turn 18. So it is going to be tight. The barriers are very, very close to the tarmac on the circuit. And Gary was saying Cadwell Park, hard to overtake, I'm guessing, did a few laps the other day. I think when you get to the mountain, you get to Hall Bends and the Hairpin, watch out, because there could be chaos and carnage all at the same time.
Absolutely. Could not have summed it up, knowing that the UkSimracers will use any part of a race circuit to make an overtake, and I mean the track. They, you know, we can sit here, Alex, and we've sat here many times and said, well, we would think it would be down into Wilson's that would be the overtake this evening, and somebody then goes and throws it up through Hamilton and through Augustini and through everywhere else that we never expected the overtakes to come from. I think that's one of the things that we get to enjoy with the UkSimracers. They make the overtakes happen anywhere.
Well, that's the beauty of a one-make series, that everyone's in the same boat, because it's always about who can use the machinery around the circuit to the best of their ability and try and put one up on everybody else. And that's one of the beautiful things about a one make series. You would rather have that than have GT3 action where it's open setup and everyone else has their own way of dealing with BOP and aero and all that kind of stuff. And the less I go into BOP, the happier I feel.
Yes,
but there's
please.
the grid for race 2.
Charles Kellerman is in first with Jamie Wilson, Darren McLean, Steve Hefford, PVG, Colin Sanson, Ollie Ricks, Ralph Cullen and Dan Hunt, Jamie Ayres, Tom Griffiths and Pete Newman. Top 12 reversed this time around. And you've got Fiona Siddons, Andy Littler, Craig Jones, Alan Toon, Mick Barry and Steve Hansford. Read it incredibly quickly because everybody's on the grid. They are literally nearly ready to go. There is the lights once more. Charles Kellerman is going to be on that pole position. How is he going to handle this one? Can he get it off the line here for Mr. K? He does. Puffs of smoke come out the back of these MX5s, but it is Charles Kellerman got the jump at the beginning. He's managing to hold on to that position. Jamie Wilson's round the outside. Darren McLean's looking up the middle. Is he thinking about sweep and taking it free wide? He's not. I can tell you one thing though, Wilson isn't thinking about hanging on. He sweeps around the inside of Charles Kellerman. Now it's Darren McLean. Charles Kellerman blocking both sides of the race circuit. There was contact. Oh, there's a lot of checkups.
Yeah, that was Steve Hefford into the back of Darren McLean there, and Hefford's just lost the front bumper as a result of it. So Darren McLean will have a wounded rear end on that MX5 because there's no front bumper on Hefford to speak of now. But yeah, like you said, a lot of checking up into Wilson's. Dan Hunt looks to have a little bit of damage on the front bumper of his Mazda MX5 down in 8th place as we ride on board with Charles Kellerman in 3rd. But yeah, that Hail Mary round the outside was mighty from Jamie Wilson. He was not hanging about.
No, absolutely. And he got it off the line as well. Maybe he knew he had the pace there. Steve Hefford's the MX5 coming towards us. You can see, well, actually, you can see Ollie Ricks and obviously PVG fighting it out further back here, having a nice little scrap with Dan Hunt in the mix there. Steve is kind of becoming a little bit of a roadblock. I'm not sure if he's got complete control. Yay. As I say that, he nearly didn't have control of that MX5, Alex, here.
No, that was a tank slapper and then some. I think he was just sort of just trying to grin and bear it, close his eyes and hoped on God's green earth that he'd make it through, but he's got Dan Hunt to his immediate right-hand side. They've got to be very careful. Hunt over the sausage curbs, Hefford onto the grass, comes back on, nearly hip checks. Hunt going into bomb hole. Griffiths is looking rather racy behind him as well. Hefford still round towards the outside, now in towards the the right-hander here at Coram. Before there could be a little bit of checking up here going into Murray's. Hefford's still ahead of Griffiths, but Hunt has got through.
Yeah, Hunt made it through there as well. Steve Hefford just dropping back. He's down 3 places from where he started. PVG having a nice little go with Charles Kellerman there. Kellerman's going to give him the inside, which I am surprised about. I thought Kellerman might have made him go around the outside here, coming into the right hand of Richards. Job done for PVG. He gets his way through. Steve Hefford now alongside Tom Griffiths. They're on the run now into the right-hander. Turn number 2. Griffiths does sweep past him, but he's also got for Steve Hefford Colin Sanson and Jamie Ayres all coming in and closing in at a rapid rate of knots. And now Pete Newman's taking out the mantle for Steve Hefford. This could be 13th, 14th place before we get to the end of lap 3 here, Alex, at this rate.
Yeah, well, Andy Littler's been through the pit lane, probably for a jump start, probably for a start infringement, I would have thought, because we're only on to lap number 2. So he's way back behind anybody else. Sansom gets through on Jamie Ayres for position. Hunt's now looking towards trying to get past on Ollie Ricks as... Oh no, Craig Jones has got around again.
Oh, poor old Craig. What was that contact though? There was somebody else spinning in front of him now. Was that Ayres having a moment? It was Ayres having a moment. And then Craig all on his own.
Probably just in sympathy, maybe. Who knows?
But maybe he looked ahead and thought, doo-doos, I need to slam my brakes on. And unfortunately, he slammed his brakes on and round he went for Craig Jones.
Yeah, I just think it was, a bit too much tightening up behind the wheel, and that can sometimes happen. You know, you get a bit over it, you decide to go a little bit, steer it a little bit further to the left than you would normally anticipate because of Jamie Ayres spinning around, and just caught Craig out there, but we're running aboard on the back bumper with Pete Newman, the first winner of the season so far. And a very second-hand looking Mester MX5 behind him in the hands of Steve Hefford.
Yeah, absolutely. Safely say Hefford's going to have to go in to the pits after this race and get some duct tape out, I'm sure, on that little MX5. The advantages of being in sim racing, everybody, you just drive into the pits at the end of the race and your car repairs by the time it comes out for race.
Oh, nice move.
Yeah, I think McLean left the door open a little bit. I was just about to say whether or not McLean was going to bully and block. He didn't, but he now needs to with Kellerman, because now these guys are fighting it out in the... Kellerman with a nice slide coming out of Wilson's there, and now McLean's going to look up the inside. This is going to be a difficult one as well, because Dan Hunt's going to want to muscle his way through on this one, Alex.
Yeah, I think probably McLean might have had a slowdown, actually. That's why PVG must have got on through on him. So if he's circumvented track limits a bit too much, then the iRacing server will have told him, right, you need to serve a slowdown penalty. And that's Hunt through. Oh, and McLean loses a couple of positions. He loses out the AM class lead to Ricks. Kellerman now through. Then we've got Griffiths, and I think, is that Newman behind him? It is the 118 from Pure Sims, and then we've got good old Steve Hefford battling on like the wounded trooper he is at the minute.
Yeah, he's still out there fighting away, and let's be real, we've seen cars that come in a worse state than that and have no bonnet and front end altogether, and literally they've managed to survive the whole entire race. But Ollie Riggs is taking that lead. He took it away from Kellerman, who lost it to McLean at the beginning. He managed to get it back. Now Griffiths is going to send it on McLean, and McLean's going to tighten up the right-hander, and there you go. Massive loss of speed for Darren McLean, and he's lost the places to Griffiths and Newman, and Hefford is looking like he's coming through. We've got the Irishman of Ralph Cullen, and behind that you can see on the overalls on the left-hand side where these guys are fighting for position. McLean is in 8th at this moment in time, just possibly about to go to 9th, depending if he can hold the very wounded Steve Hefford, who's got the Irishman of Cullinan closing right in at a rapid rate of knots here.
Well, that's the thing. McLean did a Newman, and Newman got past him at exactly the same place. So you wallop that sausage curve going into Nelson, you are going to lose a big amount of places if you've got several cars behind you, as Ralph Cullinan tries to throw it around the outside at Riches on Steve Hefford. Hefford keeps it pinned to the outside. Meantime, change of lead. PVG now ahead of Jamie Wilson.
Well, you can see there that took place down into the turn number 2, and Wilson's now going to have to try and play catch up on PVG. Of course, PVG not having the greatest race number 1. He's up 4 places, so he started 5th for this race and is now led the front, but he has got a very fast lineup behind him of Wilson, Hunt, Ricks. Newman's now taken up the mantle ahead of Kellerman. So, and we've obviously got Tom Griffiths in behind that. So there's still some fast guys closing in here, Alex. And as we say, we think we're going to go to 8, but it depends on the time of the guys up front on whether or not we're going to get 7 in the final lap. But at the moment, it could be 1 to 5 that are in the opportunity of taking this victory.
Well, when you look at the lap times we're doing at the moment, I mean, fastest lap of the race so far, just trying to look it up actually.
Pick that goal.
Yeah, PVG 2:06.5. So give or take, yeah, you're probably, as Wilson's got back through on PVG, those swap positions again. It's like musical chairs at the front between them. Jamie Wilson, PVG, it's like, no to me, no to you, to me, to you, to me, to you. It's just like, hang on, stop squabbling and just race. Come on, goddammit. It's just like what we've got here with Kellerman and Griffiths. Now, bearing in mind, Griffiths, as you rightly said, does a lot of IRL racing and has come back. Probably has come back a little bit fresher after, and he's going to dive up the inside. That is a beautiful move, but he's going to spin it around. Collects the side of Kellerman, and Griffiths drops it at Murray's.
Oh, that was just too eager on the beaver there, I think, for Tom Griffiths. A little bit eager. He knew he had to make the overtake. He went and tried to send it up the inside. Didn't quite get it done. Dan Hunt, Jamie Wilson, PVG have all swapped places once more, and Hunt got past Wilson, and also further back you obviously saw Hunt pass PVG. Wilson's now coming back up at the inside. He's going to have that inside line if he can maintain it where he is. Here for the left-hander of Palmer. Hunt's going to have it. PVG's going to push him through. Ricks is now in there. Wilson settles in. Does he? Just into second. Takes the nose off PVG. Now he's going on the right-hander coming into Agostini. Wilson from Team Chimera doing a stellar job at the front here, Alex. Keeping his foot in. Keeping his battle running as they're too wide round Agostini.
Yeah, Newman's now joined the back end of this train, but I think the danger person here is Ollie Ricks. And he is running a steady 4th place. Oh, Hunt has a wiggle, and that allows PVG to get round the outside of him into the next right-hander, and Hunt's still going to dive bomb up the inside of the Dutchman. Wilson still holding on to that lead. God only knows how. Now it's the right at Williams. Hunt gets through on PVG. Ollie Ricks, I think, is just playing the wait and see what fireworks happen in front of me. But he's got Pete Newman right up his exhaust pipe.
Yeah, you can see PVG right up the... Oh, no, you can't. Is he there? Oh, yeah, he's back.
He's had a blip.
Yeah, he's had a blip. PVG is back. Ollie Ricks in there again. Ricks had an opportunity there at one point going into turn 1, and when they were all sort of jostling around, that he could have gone and stuck his nose up. He just chose otherwise to not do that, and now he's obviously sitting in this, he's leading the AM, so he really doesn't have to try and fight if he really doesn't want to. But it'd be nice for an AM overall, but he got it last season. But Wilson, as you say, managing to hold on to this front position, but for how long? That's going to be the question. We're 4 minutes, where are we at? We need to be 4:12. We're 4:09. I think it's going to be maybe this one and one more, possibly, before we break that final lap here. Hunt's going to try and send it around the outside.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's grown a pair here, is Dan Hunt. Is he going to manage it? I think Wilson's going to come up and cover off that inside line. They're 2 by 2. Got Wilson, Hunt, PVG. Rick's just got a little bump from PVG. That sent him out, and I believe Newman is going to take that position away. Or is he not? Nope, they're still running 2 wide.
This is incredible stuff right here. Pete Newman getting towards the outside of Ollie Ricks. Now we're going to have the left-hander, so Ricks will have the inside line. So we'll have the purchase of the racing line instead. But PVG trying to see if he can get through. Wilson's hung out to drive around the outside. PVG alongside him. Now we're going down in towards Hamilton, into the left. Wilson holding on. He's like piggy in the middle at the moment. Dan Hunt hits the front of the field. And a little bit of... and Hunt's gone wide. Wilson's through. PVG's through. Newman's through. Hunt dropped it at the most inconvenient moments.
Yeah, Ricks is in the back as well. He's lost the front positions. But now you can see Newman and Hunt. One mistake from Hunt, and that has cost him on the right hand. Or Williams is going to be side by side. Is he going to have too much speed? We've seen this not work. Stay with him, Pete, because he's got to tighten up the right-hander, which is, there is a sausage curve. Oh, he's going to hang on, I think. Is he going to hang on? Newman's going to door bang him all the way round the bomb. Oh, Dan Hunt, lucky boy there, Alex. Lucky boy.
He just lost one of his 9 lives. He's still got about 7 left, I think, at this rate. But
yeah.
Wilson has just been given, I think he's nearly been handed this race on a silver platter. But he's got to keep an eye on PVG. Newman... Oh, look how wide Ollie Ricks was coming out of Murray's. He was definitely flat out on that one. You could see the rear wheel spinning up like a good one. He nearly ended up 4th ahead of Newman, who got, I think, probably a little checked up by Hunt heading into the last couple of corners. So it does just go to show how close this racing can be as the time is quickly running out, as our leaders making their way down into Wilson's, which could be for the last time. Ollie Ricks again hitting the grass a little bit, coming into Wilson's. Oh, and I thought Newman was a little bit sideways. He was, but managed to gather it back up again.
Yeah, I believe this is the last lap. They crossed over the line at 2:01, so this is going to be a 7-lap race unless there's the former Miracle. Hunt has puffed up a big load of dirt into Pete Newman. Wilson side by side with PVG. Round Agostina, they go. Wilson's going to have the inside for the left-hander of Hamilton. If PVG can hang it out, he'll have the inside for Oggies, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Wilson's going to now park it. Surely he's got to park it on every single apex. PVG's going to try the long way. He's going to be big and brave. Is he going to be able to hold it round the right hand, or Williams? He open it up. Wilson's just got to open it up. He does open it up, covers off PVG, and now it's a straight sprint down that Bentley straight down into the left-hander.
But look at the toe that Dan Hunt's got right now. He could make it 3 wide if he decides to go to the left. He is going to go to the left. Oh my goodness, fight for the race lead. Hunt sends it up the inside. Oh, contact!
3 wide into the corner. Newman's gone round as well. It's going to be Ollie Ricks.
Ollie Ricks is going to go around the out. Is he going to go through at the bum hole? He is. Wilson got collected by Newman, but still hanging on. Checker is going to be out this time. Ollie Ricks is hanging it round the outside through at Coram. Now it's going to be the last corner here at Murray's onto the centre straight. Ricks is going to keep it pinned to the racing line. Wilson round the outside. Who's going to get the better run? I think Wilson might get this one, James.
He is running down into the line. Ollie Ricks did not have the inside just covered off. Jamie Wilson's going to come through. Wilson's going to come through. Then Ricks. Dear me. What a catastrophe corner. And I think it started here on this 3 wide.
Well, it was because Hunt went through, Wilson tagged him and then spun him into PVG. Newman gets collected by PVG as he went round the outside. And you can see the back end of that 118 Pure Sims car. But shout out to Ollie Ricks, keeping it high, wide, round the outside at Coram, of all places. They're doing over 85 miles an hour through this part, and he could have maybe braked a little bit later just to really reel that in, but Wilson just had the momentum around the outside and kept it pinned for the race win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to give a certain Irishman a shout out here, because he sneaked his way into second place in all of that, and we can have a look at the results now. And Jamie Wilson wins in the overalls, and Ollie Ricks takes the win in second. Ralph Cullinan sneaked a podium in the overalls and in the pros. PVG in fourth, then Charles Kellerman in fifth, and Newman was Sanson sixth and seventh. Hefford is in eighth place. Tom Griffith's ninth, for Darren McLean in 10th. Wow, I missed this. Come back, Gary. Come and join us in this fight here. Darren McLean in 10th, and Fiona Siddons, Jamie Ayres, Craig Jones, Andy Littler, Mick Barry, Sir Alan Toon, Dan Hunt, and obviously Steve Hansford again, who has not joined us. That has just been an absolutely epic race 1 and race 2, folks. We're going to jump onto a BRB while we change sessions. Don't go anywhere, because if that was race 2, imagine what it's going to be like in the rain a little bit later on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm still James Parfitt. There's been a change in the booth, as you heard a little bit earlier on. I've now got Mr. Alex Goldschmidt alongside me, has been here for race 1 and race 2, comes in like the hero that he is and saves you all from listening to me for the next 2 hours of this. Alex, race 1, race 2, I think we can safely say has been epic. Race 3, I'm not expecting anything different. And then when we get to race 4, where I am expecting rain, that could bring a whole different dimension to this evening's racing.
Indeed. Have to give a shout out to our good colleague, Tom Cairns, who is watching the action as we speak. So, Tom, shout out to you, good sir. If the first 2 races are the appetizer, we've got the main course for race 3, and we get the wonderful dessert if it does end up being rainy in race 4. I must be completely honest with you. But this championship is a bit like, karting. You've got that unpredictability of you don't know what's going to happen, but when it does happen, it definitely takes the breath out of your lungs, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they survive this race 4, to be honest with you, especially if they go with torrential rain, which is what we have seen a couple of times, or if they're going to go with a likely, the likely spitting of rain. I'm hoping they don't have what I had at Snetterton last weekend, where I was in a tent, mind you. I was in a pop-up tent, so it was only a single skin. And the rain was coming down like absolute golf balls at 4 o'clock in the morning. Woke me up, my kids up, my 2 boys who were in a different tent, the young girl behind us and her dad in the tent behind us, and the people to the left of us as well. It absolutely hurtled down. And then to top it all off, we had thunder and lightning, which if you're sat in a tent with carbon fibre poles, doesn't feel so safe. I've got to be honest on that one. But the kids survived. I survived, so that was always good. But it was absolutely hammering.
You're here. Your missus is still alive. You must have been thanking your lucky stars at that point.
I was, dude, to be honest with you. I have never, literally, I will send you the clip, Alex, after this, of just the rain coming down and the sound of what it sounded like in my tent. And that was just me holding up my phone in the air. And it was literally, they were the size of golf balls. It was hurtling it down. Up at Snetterton as well. We didn't get no racing till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon by the time they had the old jet engine dryers out on the racetrack. It was a very good weekend. We saw some amazing cars, mind you, top fuel cars, drag cars going down at 320 miles an hour. That was, a quarter of a mile in just over 3.4 seconds, 0.9 seconds to 100 miles an hour. They were shifting. And I will say the fuel that was left in the air gave us all a little bit of an eye ache, shall we say, for all of us stood by the start-finish line as it was spat up into the air at an absolute rapid rate of knots.
That's the thing with those top fuel drags, is they're all running on ethanol these days, and that combusts with explosive power, but the residue is something that you don't really want to be in the nearby vicinity of, as James has just alluded to.
Yes, no, you do not. There was everybody in that stand rubbing their eyeballs after they set off down the quarter mile at 320 miles an hour. Here is the grid for race number 3, complete round and reverse. PVG will be on pole with Ralph Cullen and Craig Jones, Ollie Ricks, Jamie Ayres and Jamie Wilson. Then you've got Mick Barry, Fiona Siddons, Alan Toome, Pete Newman, Charles Kellerman and Steve Hefford. Then behind that, Colin Sanson, Darren McLean, Tom Griffiths, Andy Littler and Dan Hunt. No Steve Hansford, of course, here as well. These guys have got onto the grid at a very timely manner. I did have a brief little text message with Craig Jones between the 2 breaks. I can't repeat what he said, but let's put it this way: he blamed the car on that one. So we've got 3 lanes. Yes. 5 lanes, and ladies and gentlemen, we are green for race number 3 of the UK SimRacers MX5s, and it is PVG with Ralph Cullinan on that run down into Riches. Cullinan's got his nose just in front. Behind that is Ollie Ricks and Craig Jones. Is he going to be able to keep it going in the right direction? Oh, my dearie me, if he keeps taking the nose of Ollie Ricks like that, he ain't going to be going in the right direction very long. But it's Ralph Cullinan holding the whole shot going into turn 2. Then Ricks, then Jones. You can separate him by Jones has got dark black wheels. Ricks has got the bright yellow wheels. And that's the only way. No, Craig has got the bright yellow wheels. Ricks has got the dark wheels. So Ricks is in front of him now as he's going round the left-hander here.
Yeah, Jamie Ayres looking up the inside on the run down towards Agostini on Craig Jones. This is the battle for 4th overall, but not for positioning class, I might add. But yeah, Jamie Ayres just keeping Craig a little bit wide, coming out of Agostini, now into the left-hander here at Hamilton. There's the Team Chimera, number 87 of Jamie Wilson, rounding out the top 6, followed by Mick Barry. Pete Newman up 2 places. Steve Hefford, who rounds out the top 9, up 3 positions. Fiona Siddons, who started 8th. She currently runs 4th in the AM class down in P10, as Pete Newman has got past Mick Barry rather quickly, and Barry's got Hefford to the outside. Oh, I think Barry's having to serve a slowdown. He's pulled to the right-hand side of the circuit.
Yeah, yeah, as Fiona Siddons is going to go right through. Tom Griffiths is going to go through there with Hunt trying to pressurise. Darren McLean's going to have the inside line going into the left-hander before they go into Nelson's. Fiona Siddons and Griffiths were side by side. Siddons does make it through. Dan Hunt almost makes it through. Griffiths is now, I think, struggling. Oh, there was contact with McLean and Hunt. And unfortunately, they make contact there, and Hunt still manages to hold on while Darren McLean settles in behind him. But PVG out the front at the moment with Ricks, with Cullinan, with Ayres, and Jones still sitting in 5th. However, looks like he's just about to lose a place alongside Jamie Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson looking to the outside. He's going to get the side draft here. Pete Newman, where is he going to stick the 118? Oh, he's going to go right. He's going to make it 3 wide into Riches, and Craig Jones gets mugged. But he's still keeping it planted to the inside, so this could give a nice little run down towards Wilson. And, well, Wilson and Newman have just swapped places. Craig Jones very close to the right rear of Wilson, coming out of Wilson. Now going into Oggies, the left-hander here at 3. Loses a lot of time, but obviously a very different skill set between the likes of Craig, and nothing disrespectful against Craig here at all. You can have a look at the replay. Now this is Tom Griffiths. That's Dan Hunt to his outside.
Going to come across his nose.
Oh no! And Tom gets he gets half of a 360 than what PVG had in race 1.
Yeah, straight across the nose of Dan Hunt. They saw that all day coming along. And unfortunately, both of them now drop down the order. Griffiths right at the back. Hunt's managed to survive in 11th. PVG with the first place. Ollie Ricks again sitting in that second spot. Cullinan and Ayres. And you've got Newman, Wilson, Jones, who's got Hefford closing, who's got a full car this time around. But Wilson and Wilson and Newman looks like he's just got a slow down there because he's pulled to the left-hand side. Is that going to give space for Craig Jones to go through? It is. What about Steve Hefford? Not this time, but Jones manages to make it through, and Newman has a slowdown, but Jones hits the sausage curb, and Newman says, well, if you're going to do that, I'll have that position back.
He's seen 2 people do that in front of him tonight of what he did in race 1. And like I said, because the fact that both back wheels aren't on the tarmac and you're walloping that curve through Nelson, you are going to lose a lot of rotation when it comes to the back axle. Newman's just had a tag slapper coming out of Murray's, and he's on the grass. Craig Jones, I think, went right to avoid him. And there goes Steve Hefford.
Hefford's gone through. Here's a battle up front with the Cullinan, Ricks and PVG. Brown, Riches they go, coming into Wilson now. And Ricks is going to settle into that second place. Cullinan's going to be in there, but he's got Ayres closing in as well. Ricks and Cullinan are stuck in this sort of rock and a hard place at the moment because they've got to try and attack, but at the same time they've got to try and defend, and it's very, 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 very tough to do 2 jobs at the same time. If you ask my wife, I can't multitask for Jack here, so I'll have to concentrate on one, but these guys are going to have to try and attack and defend all at the same time and see how they got through through here with this battle up the front end. Then we've got Wilson kind of nestling in that little bit of no man's land, 2.5 in front, 2.5 behind. But then Steve Hefford and Newman looks like he's just about trying to have that inside line round the left-hander of Hamilton.
And it looks like he's going to get it as well. That was neatly done. Steve actually goes a little bit further to the right, just opens up the steering. Then into Oggies. He's going to dive it up the inside, uses the inside of the curbing and then some, going onto the grass using the right-hand side wheels. And then that just allows Newman to get through. And Craig Jones right on the back bumper of Steve Hefford, pulls it to the outside. Hefford pulls to the right. I think he got a slow down, probably from that bit too hefty a track cut into the right-hander. I think it was at Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig still up there, nestling in second in the arms at the moment. There's Fiona Siddons, Charles Kellerman and Darren McLean. They were almost side by side, 3 wide at one point. McLean does make it through, Siddons makes it through, Kellerman makes it through. But at PVG, battle for the lead with Ollie Ricks here again. Ricks is showing where he left off last season and has done a great job at this moment in time, nestling up into that second place. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a promotion to pros for Ollie Ricks.
I wouldn't be at all surprised either. I mean, look how much that closing speed is playing into the hands of Ollie Ricks. He's now about a tenth. He's less than a tenth behind. PVG's going to swing it a little bit further to the left to carry the speed through at Riches and then on the run down to Wilson. But Ollie Ricks was right up his back bumper. And PVG went, well, there's something I've got to do to try and stop this from happening. And he did exactly the right thing through Riches. He went a little bit wider on the approach into it to help him rotate the car, not have to use so much steering input, but don't start cutting the grass going through out of Wilson's and into Palmer there, PVG, because Ollie Ricks would be up there quicker than a rabbit up a drain pipe trying to get through for the race lead if he got the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to want to take the overall as best as he possibly can. Steve Hefford, Dan Hunt. Hunt's just got past Jones. Hefford's got past Jones. You can see the gaggle of cars behind him. McLean, Kellerman, Siddons, Sanson and Griffiths. Griffiths is well out of place at the moment, but we've seen what happened to him. Sanson just goes and sends it on the inside of Siddons. That's job done in the left-hander of Agostini. And then Griffiths is also going to take up the inside line. He'll have the left in the inside for Hamilton. And is Siddons going to give him that room? She does. And Griffiths does go through and moves up one place. But he's well out of position here. He's got a job and a half to try and make that top 10 reverse for race number 4. He's got to clear at least another 4 people before he can even get there, and we're mixing up between 3 and 4 laps remaining, and I say that loosely, Alec, because of the timings that we've had tonight. They've been very, very close, whether or not we're getting 7, which we did in race 2, or 8, which is what we did in race 1.
Yeah, well, we're 80% of the way through. That's one car that is now being cleared, so that just means that Griffiths now has to get past both Kellerman and McLean to get that top 10 reverse grid pole position for the final race of the night. And he's not hanging about, is Tom Griffiths. He's making up for what happened earlier on after he got the slightest of touches. He's right on the rear bumper of Charles Kellerman coming out of Corham and now heading into Murray. So it's about how you get out of this corner. Kellerman might run a little bit wide. Griffiths runs a little bit wider thereof to try and carry that speed through. Now, Griffiths is just under 3.5 tenths behind Kellerman, who's slightly broken the toe for the number 1. So Griffiths, if he was like 2, maybe 1.5 tenths of a second back from Kellerman, then it might have been a little bit easier. But Ollie Ricks now gunning for the race lead, nearly thought of an opportunity up the inside of off at Palmer. Now they've got the run down to Agostini. We're riding on board with PVG briefly, then we go back to Ollie Ricks. This is at Agostini. That's brave if you're going to try it there, Sunshine. He doesn't make it through, but he might get a better run. He could be 2 wheels on the grass. Ollie Ricks is on an absolute charge at the moment. Tries at Hamilton. No, not going to happen there. Now Oggies. No, he just lost out too much time. He was 2 wheels on the grass on the run through Hamilton, and that's where he lost all that time.
Yeah, Cullinan loses the place to Ayres. We saw the swap behind, and Ayres is now there with Ralph Cullinan, with Ollie Ricks, with PVG. It's a 4-car fight at the front. They're a bit more spread out in the middle, but now we've got Colin Sanson. Well, I was going to say side by side, but he's not really, because he's off the side of the circuit as Andy Littler goes through on him there. and a nice little battle further down, but it's kind of the front and the rear, Alex, is providing the action at the moment, and we've got PVG, Ricks, Ayres and Cullinan all fighting out for the top 4. You can see Newman, Hefford and Hunt in that middle pack just starting to close up. Then we've got Littler, Sampson and Toon, as everybody else in that middle pack is kind of a little bit more spread out. Shadow Fox in YouTube, fantastic stuff. Absolutely, this is what we come to expect. You think this is great? Stay for race 4 when they start, if they're going to introduce the rain, because I can tell you one thing, that is going to be a different kettle of fish altogether.
Yeah, mistakes now happening quite frequently by Ollie Ricks, as Jamie Ayres is going to throw the Hail Mary round the outside. He's nearly hip checking him as they head into the fast right-hander here at Richards at turn number 1. Rick still keeps it on the inside line. This might provide an opportunity as PVG goes off the circuit. Oh, he went in with way too much momentum, did PVG. And Rick still
Cullinan
holds on. Yeah, Cullinan's coming back at Ayres now.
Cullinan was trying to sneak through there. There was a door open, so Ayres did leave the door, and Cullinan did try and get through. You can see Hunt is side by side with Hefford at the moment as they're going running down to the left-hander of Palmer's on that run up into Agostini as well. If Hefford opens up the steering, he doesn't really open it up. That allows Hunt for the run around the outside. Is he going to have this left-hander, Steve Hefford, or is it going to be Dan Hunt as they come through the left-hander now? They're side by side. Hefford's going to have the inside for Hamilton if he can just keep it there a little bit longer. Hunt's on the grass, you saw spinning up from his right hand side of his car there. He's still round the outside. There's still, now they settle in, coming into the right hander of Oggies. But that was a great half a lap for them too. And Hunt's on the grass.
Again. Meantime, PVG and Ollie Ricks swapped the lead at least 3 times in an exchange. And now Ricks is again looking towards the outside. This is going to be going into Brundle underneath the bridge. Now into the right-hander at Nelson. Everyone hard on the brakes, avoiding the sausage curb. Well done, guys. Well done. Good negotiation of that part of the circuit. Now through the slight compression through Bombhole into the right-hander here at Coram, as we are fast approaching the end of another lap here at Snetterton at the 300 circuit. We are going to be very, very tight on time. 2 minutes 6.4, 2 minutes 6.9 was the fastest lap done by Ollie Ricks as we run on board with PVG. We are going to be on the cusp here.
7, 6, 5.
Oh, we got 2 laps to go. I think we just about made it. Just about made it. And now it's the 3-way scrap. Cullinan has lost out big time. He's 2.5 seconds behind Ayres, but it's half a second separating the top 3. They're all trying to do one up on each other as Ricks gets very close. A little bit of a love tap to the back bumper of PVG through Wilson's here on lap 7. It's definitely game on. Who's going to be able to pick a winner from these 3? Well, James and I can't. I definitely think you lot watching won't be able to either.
No, I am not even going to try it on this one because I think it could be any one of these, and we saw what happened on the last lap in the last couple of corners last race out. So I'm definitely not going to put my neck on the line here because I don't like the chopping block at the best of times, and I'm certainly not going to do it. Who is going to be able to hold on, especially when they've got that run down the Bentley straight? And if Ricks is close enough, he might be able to get it. If Ayres is close enough, he's going to get that double draft. He could get both of them, and we could end up 3 wide again going through the left-hander that we saw last time out. But this is it now. This is the final moment, the final push. Who's going to be able to get there? You can see Ayres on board with him now. That's Ollie Ricks right in front. I don't know if Ricks is going to have enough. Ayres might just about have enough, but it is PVG going to hold on here.
Dentures. I haven't said that in a while.
Ricks!
Oh no, Ricks has lost it.
Oh,
Ollie, what happened, mate? Oh my goodness. Well, that is going to be the case of PVG is going to come away with a race win.
we hope.
It was just like literally Ricks just lost it. It compromised Ayres, and PVG went, thank you very much, boys. I'll take that all the way to the bank. Checkered flag is out. 7 laps in the books. And PVG becomes the 3rd different race winner in the autumn season.
Yeah, Ollie Ricks grabs the AMs. That's 3 out of 3 for Ricks here in the AM class. What about Pete Newman, Jamie Wilson? Well, they're running side by side, nose to tail, down to the line. It was Newman, it was Wilson who got Newman. Then we've got Charles Kellerman and Craig Jones. Is Jones going to hang on for that run? Yes, he is. What about Andy Littler? Well, there was a big off from Darren McLean there, but Andy Littler followed him. So he will survive, will Andy Littler, this time around, and Sir Alan Toon just tucked in there as well. But yeah, Jones with his 2nd place, and Kellerman again on the podium, and that's 2 in a row here. Ricks is the only AM driver to make the podium 3 times in a row, and looking at my race notes there, I think he is the only driver out of the whole field to make 3 out of 3 on the podium. But let's bring you up the results from race number 1. There is the rain. PVG is your winner with Jamie Ayres in 2nd. Ollie Ricks claims 3rd overall and gets the win for the AMs. Cullinan rounds out the podium for the pros. Then we've got Jamie Wilson, Pete Newman, Dan Hunt, Steve Efford and Tom Griffiths. A long way back from Ollie Ricks. His 2nd place, Craig Jones, with Charles Kellerman rounding out the podium for the AMs. Then you've got Fiona Siddons, Colin Sampson, Darren McLean, Andy Littler, Sir Alan Toon and Mick Barry. And as we said here, Alex, it's raining.
Ready for the roller coaster here in Snetterton, folks? We are. Shout out to Tom Cairns. He said, I've been saying that Ollie Ricks should be in pro for weeks on end. We completely agree, and I'm sure there's going to be I'm sure that JB Ayres is going to have a little word in Ollie's God, the Momo boys. They've been caught out already. They nearly ended up at the end of the barriers on the right hand side of the pit lane exit or the warm up. Well done, boys. Code Brown, anyone?
Yeah, not the best way to start off if you're going out in the warm-up there and on that one. But hey, if you're going to have fun, you might as well do it there as well. But into that warm-up we go. Race 4 in the rain. Now, I'm going to be interested to see if... I don't think anybody's going to chance dry tyres, because that would just be absolutely ridiculous.
You'd have to have a big set to do that. You really would do. But... it ain't going to dry out, folks. It ain't going to dry out. As I think we're going to see more sideways action than Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift tonight on this race, I think.
Yep, I fully agree on that one. And I think it's going to be a very interesting race number 4, as we're going to be tackling the rain. An already tricky circuit here. And Shadow Fox lost a position, but that was a heck of a save still from Ollie Ricks in that final little corner. It was, I'll give you that, Shadow, it was a heck of a save from Ollie Ricks to maintain and still take 3rd overall. Ollie Ricks equals pro. Well done, bud, to Charles K. As I say, I've not had final confirmation, and a message I got from Mr. Ayres earlier on is there's been no decisions made, Charles. So... we'll have to see on the next one, but I'm sure if he takes 4 out of 4 in the AMs here, Alex, it could definitely be a promotion by the time we get to race 2.
That'll be a death toll for promotion for Ollie Ricks, 100%. Because he like literally, not only is he winning, but he's fighting the sharp end. So that says to me, it would be an absolute travesty if he doesn't go up into pro. And considering the way that he did so well last season, it's proofs in the pudding there. You know, he's probably gone out there and gone, excuse me, as soon as they've got the calendar, he's gone, oh, I'm going to have a little try. I'm going to have a little try at that and see how we get on. And I think he's probably been prepping himself for the potential promotion. That's what I think.
I think the interesting thing is, though, at the moment, he's not the highest placed AM over 2 seasons. Colin Sampson is holding that one by about, oh God, I'm going to have to try and do maths, about 600 points here. So there's a possibility that Sampson might stay in that lead place, and that's why they're keeping Ricks in AMs to see how far he can go, you know, and whether or not he can break Colin Sampson's 678, actually. And I didn't do that. I read a sheet. I just didn't scroll across to read it. So, yeah, I'm not that good at maths.
Shout out to the UkSimracers admin people for that.
Yes, that sort of helped me out on my rubbish maths at this time of night. So I don't know if maybe they're keeping him there just for making it interesting going into this season. I don't really know. I don't know if it would be beneficial for him to move up because he isn't going to take the Pro Championship or the overall. And is he going to move up to give himself the end of an AM run, should we say? It really is a 50-50, isn't it?
Well, moving on from that briefly for a minute, just seen McLean and Hefford both go slippery, slidey sideways through Hamilton. That means it's more than just saturated. It's more than mildly moist. I would like to say the words that Jeremy Clarkson would have mentioned in the Grand Tour. It's wetter than something's pockets. I'm not going to name the animal in question, but you all know what I might be talking about there. But yeah, this is going to be tricky. I mean, we could see lap times probably at least 20 seconds off of the 205s 206s as warm up now finally comes to a close ahead of race 4 in the rain.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We are going to go into race 4 and let's bring you up the grid for race 4 when it swaps around. And oh, dearie me, Craig Jones is on pole position with Tom Griffiths and Steve Hefford and Dan Hunt. Pete Newton,
sorry to cut across you there, but how you just oh dear, Craig Jones is on pole position. That's like literally James has thrown him under the bus without even inadvertently directly saying anything yet.
Mate, unless he's gone out and done some mad wet training, he's going to struggle. Then we've got Air Spangle, Kellerman, Siddons, Tamsin, McLean, Littler, Toon and Barry in the background. And at the moment, I'm showing a couple of drivers on dry tyres here. God. I'm showing Tom Griffiths and Dan Hunt sitting on dries. I'm sure that can't be the case. That might be a glitch. But then again, I've also got Darren McLean. We're going to find out very shortly if that is the truth here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. We're now off and running on the line. Craig Jones with Tom Griffiths in the rain. Let's slow away. Darren McLean is on dries. He's just gone round in the background there. Darren McLean must be on dries. Tom Griffiths in the wet. Craig Jones taking the lead into turn 1. Steve Hefford in there. The rain master maestro. Absolutely. He's going to get this done. Craig Jones is not going to survive going into the right-hander of Wilson. They're 3 wide further back with Wilson, Griffiths and Cullinan. It's all going off. Jones is managing to hold his position round the outside. He's got that second place. Tom Griffiths is on dry tyres. Dan Hunt is also on dries. They are struggling. What sort of decision was that and why was that made, Alex?
Oh, Mick Barry, Fiona Siddons, Dan Hunt.
Dan Hunt. Oh, yay. Griffiths is still out there. How much longer is he going to survive? I don't know if he's going to.
Now, the thing is, folks, for those uninitiated, Tom Griffiths actually races in the BRSCC Mazda MX5 Super Cup, and his livery is exactly the same as what his current car has, the number 16, with the Diamatrix sponsorship on the front bonnet of it. He will know this circuit very, very well in real life, but then you throw in rain, you throw in the iRacing service, and then you have a guy that is now down currently in 13th position. Ollie Ricks gets through on teammate Craig Jones. There is Pete Newman, who's about to get the side draft from the number 29. Meantime, Momo Steve Hefford is leading by 1.9 seconds.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. Wilson's in second. That is was the tyre compounds there. And that was the situation. I don't even believe Darren McLean. I'm going to have a look back at the start, and this isn't. Watch this. Oh, there's a jump start from Colin Sanson there. Darren McLean can't even get it off the line. He starts getting all a little bit squirrely, and then bang! Didn't even go anywhere.
He didn't even get past the stripe.
Nope, and that is, oh dear, I forgot to check my tyre compound. That is on that one, as Ollie Ricks there in third. He's another guy who's a master in the rain. Craig Jones, I've got to give him his credit. He's out there. He has practiced in the rain, but he has not been in the sim for 12 weeks, if not a little bit longer. So I'm not going to give him too much of a berated grief, even though he knows I would. But he's just doing what he's trying to do and get used to the rain. He's never driven the rain apart from this week. I think his rig was actually set up over the weekend. So for Jones, this is a kind of a baptism of fire. But you can see Wilson, Ricks and Newman, who are accustomed to the rain, battling it out in there as well.
Phil across the pond says, I see my curse is still active then. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, you have to, at least at the end of the day, Phil across the pond, he's definitely, as we've all known him, as the JPB superfan. He's mainly around for most broadcasts, but there is Ollie Ricks through. That's a nice little move there at Agostini on Wilson. Newman trying to get through, has to line back into 4th place, but yeah, that gap that Steve Hefford's starting to open up, it is increasing by the sector at the minute.
Oh, yeah, and to be fair, between Hefford and Ricks last season, they were the outstanding drivers in the rain. And obviously, when they did make their mistakes, they made their mistakes. And, you know, it is what it is on that one. But they were absolutely flying. And I'm not surprised that Hefford got the lead. And I'm not surprised Ricks managed to move up 6 places already. However, Jamie Wilson has turned around and said, I don't care if you're great in the rain. I'm coming through on the left-hander. You're either going to leave me room or we're going to have a collision. Ricks does leave him room, but he's also got to tighten up the right-hander of Nelson. That's going to give Wilson the inside line on that run. Around the bottom hole they go. Ricks is going to hang it out there. Learned from what he did in race 2. Wrong, Alex, and hangs it out around the outside.
Newman, look at where Newman is in comparison with Wilson around the outside at Gorham, and now heading into Murray's. And Newman was slightly earlier on the brakes. He might get it lined up, or he gets a little bit of a tap from behind. That compromises Wilson, who slides coming out of Murray's. And Jamie Ayres, as a result of all of that, gets through for P3. I think Newman did a very, very shrewd manoeuvre there. He went to the outside of Wilson going into Gorham, was slightly earlier on the brakes, and that allowed him to stop it in time for Murray's. Got a little bit of a tap from behind, which meant that Wilson cost himself the opportunity to remain in 3rd and remain in 4th. So Ayres has got through, and now they're having the likes of PBG starting to catch up with them. A little bit of a waggle from the back end of Ricks. That has invited Newman, and I think Newman's just got through on him on the run through to the left-hander at Palmer's. That is the case, and well, Hefford is at the moment laughing all the way to the halfway point of the race so far, which we're about 2 minutes away. We're 2 minutes away from. He's 3 seconds up the road already.
Yeah, I expect there should be 7 laps here with a lap time of 2:19.20 seconds. Well, yeah, 13 seconds actually. It was 2:06s, I believe they were doing. 13 seconds slower than a lap in the dry. So that should give us 7 laps. Hefford's on his bike. He's already gone. Ricks is in there trying to hold on. Jamie Ayres is in there as well. With Wilson, with PVG, and then everybody behind that is a little bit more spread out. Craig Jones is down in 13th place. He's obviously, clearly made a mistake as Mr. Jones. You wait till I speak to him after this. He was doing so well up until this point, and then he's gone round.
He's just touched the curb, and it's slick. And the car's already got front end damage on it as well, so he's had an earlier incident.
I wonder if this is it, actually, to be fair, because it's still got his bumper there.
And he won't have now.
He won't have now, no, it's going to drop off on us. There you go. Springs off. Ding! It's like somebody pushed the eject button. But Ayres and Ricks is side by side. Wilson's in there with PVG. 8 minutes remaining on lap 3. Round the left-hander of Murray's they come. And Ayres has cleared Ricks this time. And Jamie Ayres takes that 3rd place away. Newman's in the pit lane. Why is Newman in the pit lane?
Oh, possible drive-through penalty, maybe?
Yes.
Sansom is in the pit lane as well.
Are they hit instant limits? Oh no, Sansom. That should be a stop-and-go penalty if he jumped that start at the beginning.
Yeah. So I think, that says to me Newman drive-through penalty, possibly for jump start. Oh no, Sansom did jump the start, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sansom did jump the start, so stop and go. So that would mean that Newman probably racked up too many X points, probably too many incident points beyond his limit. Oh, did you see that from JB Wilson? He brought it out of the corner, the back end snapped to the right, then to the left, and it was like, do the hokey cokey and shake it all about.
Yeah, it's always the way in the rain, isn't it? I think that's the thing. Jones has had another mistake here, and it's jumped straight back. Oh, dearie me, he come across like an absolute banshee to cover off Ollie Ricks. And Ez was hanging on, because I tell you what, Ricks would have got him there, but he comes straight across the racetrack at covering that off, and he just made it there, Alex, but that could have gone a completely different way.
All I'm going to say is the battle for the race lead going through into Nelson's a couple of races ago. That's all I need to say. That's all I want to say. But yeah, PVG gets out of the toe of Ollie Ricks. Now this is going to be into Brundle, then into the right-hander here at Nelson. Be careful of that sausage curb. Well, actually, in the way, I don't think it's as disruptive to your momentum, but it's quite a hefty whack if you hit that sausage curb. Ollie Ricks sideways through the bomb hole. That was nearly clean up on aisle 3 there, but he still kept the throttle pinned, and he's actually catching Jamie Ayres in the battle for P2.
Yeah, Ricks was sideways. PVG was sideways through the bomb hole as well. And now, Ayres is... This is all going off on this one. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have, I think it's only going to be about 2 laps to go. Ez is squeezing Ricks. He's going to drive around the outside of Riches. How is this one going to work? Is he going to hold it? Oh, he's full left hand down. Oh, Ollie Ricks, full left hand down, turning right. You've got to turn left to go right. And Ollie Ricks just showed you how to do that going into Riches in the rain.
Craig Jones has just gone into chat. Water Wings kept catching on the steering wheel. Oh, God. Did you have your snorkel with you as well, buddy? I'm sorry, I just so had to. But judging by his earlier comment to you behind closed doors, which we will not repeat on air.
No, Mr. Jones.
I think that was definitely a welcome retort to his nice little witty comment in YouTube chat. Folks, don't forget, if you want to keep on watching more of this wonderful action that we've got here on the UkSimracers, the Radical Race Series, and so much other stuff, don't forget to like, share and subscribe whilst you're at it, and follow us on socials.
Yes, that would be absolutely amazing, as we've broken I think we're 2,200, I think, now on subscribers. So that would be absolutely epic if you can on that one. 2,222, funny enough.
All the twos.
All the twos. There was, if I was a bingo caller, I'd be all right. I'd have a full house. But these guys battling away, still fighting it out. Their rain driving has massively improved from last season. They were new. It was a new thing. And it was been brought in. And you saw the first race under rain was just chaotic. There was people going everywhere, should we say, but it's a lot more consistent as the season's gone on. They've done really, really well with this. And Ollie Ricks, losing, he's going to lose to PV. Oh, there's contact.
Oh, and Ricks is sideways. He's still hung on to it. How on earth? How do you do, Ollie Ricks? Clash with PVG. Sideways and then some, and then here comes Jamie Wilson. He's going to try and pull to the left of PVG, so it is going to be 1 and 1 more, because Steve Hefford crosses the start line now with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go. So 1 and 1 more, that will put us at 7 laps of racing, and Jamie Wilson decides not to throw the Hail Mary round the outside of PVG, but keeps into the rear bumper of the number 39. PVG 2 wheels on the grass. Wilson trying to steer it right hand down, gets a little bit sideways in his own right, and a bit of a touch between the pair. PVG spins the rear wheels up, back end steps out to the left, and now Wilson looking up the inside into turn 3. Here at Palmer, is he going to get through? No, PVG has the gall and the guts to keep it pinned round the outside.
Yeah, Absolutely. I tell you what, these guys are continuing to fight there. Shadow Ricks with another hell of a save. And it was absolutely class from Ollie Ricks there. Once again, did an absolutely amazing job on that one. But Wilson, PVG and Ayres fighting it out really for the second, third and fourth. Can't see anybody catching Steve Efford unless he makes a dire mistake. We are just about going to get 7 laps here, Alex. It's going to be the last lap next time around. And a great job, I think you can safely say. It's been an amazing evening of racing. I've loved every minute of this. And as per normal, these guys just don't disappoint.
No, PVG trying to break the toe on Jamie Wilson as they come down the Bentley Straight for what is going to be the penultimate time here on lap 6 out of 7. Wilson pulls out of the slipstream. He's going to gun it up the inside through into Brundle. PVG still keeps it round the outside. Now into Nelson. Ooh. Wilson's going to try and do the crisscross here, not quite. PVG shuts the door in his face. Now through into the bomb hole. Tighter entry from Wilson on that particular occasion. But in these wet weather conditions, the outside tends to have a little bit more grip sometimes. So that's why PVG, despite keeping it round the outside, is still able to keep the number 87 from Team Chimera at bay. Ollie Ricks, however, isn't out of it yet with regards to a potential top 3 finish, as Steve Efford brings us onto the white flag lap here for one more time.
Yeah, I think Barney's got on holiday, mate. He's seen the rain. He ain't even coming out. Look, he's not even there.
Where's me brolly? If I don't have me brolly, I'm on strike.
Yeah, he's like, no, not coming out for tonight. You guys crack on with it. As Wilson and PVG are cracking up on it there as well. PVG trying to cover off Wilson. Ricks has got to go. You've got to go. The door's open. Go on, be brave. Get it there. Oh. Wilson went for the gap. To try and get PVG. Left that door open for Ollie Ricks. And almost for Ollie Ricks did he get up the inside there. Just couldn't quite make it through for Ricks. And it looks like he's going to have one more try over Jamie Wilson here.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing is that with these wet weather conditions, they're having to counteract all the, the understeer that they'll be suffering, trying to, put the power through a corner. And the thing is with Ollie Ricks, trying to get through on Wilson, again, sideways through at Hamilton, just barely hanging on. They're having to go left to go right and vice versa. It's just with these adverse conditions, you're put between a rock and a hard place. Let's stay on board with Jamie Wilson. So turns it right. You can see correction to the left. Oh. There we go. A little bit of Oppo lock there for you. Bit of the old Scandinavian flick might be happening sooner than we might expect. But Steve Efford on board with the number 72 from Momo, coming into Brundles for the final time. And again, left, right, now into the right. Is there going to be a bit of a left? Yes, there is. Back end steps out to the left-hand side. Thank you very much. Now through into the bomb hole, through the slight dip. And again, he's having to overcorrect by using left to go right. Now it's Coram. And you can just see he's feathering the throttle. The revs are going up slightly. Oh, he's on the grass. He's on the grass. He's on the grass. Briefly. But it's going to be 4 different winners from 4 different races so far in the opening round of the Autumn Series for UkSimracers Mazda MX5 as JB Ayres tanks slappering away coming out of Murray's. It's going to go the way of Steve Efford.
Yeah, Efford's going to come over the line. Great job from him. Stellar job there. 1, 2, 3 for Momo as well. It's been a long time since we've seen that one. And Ollie Ricks wraps it up in the arms. Behind, we've got Pete Newman and Ralph Cullinan on the run down to the line. Newman slots in again. He's going to have one. I don't think he's going to have one more opportunity. I don't believe he's going to get there. Ricks makes it 4 out of 4. The only man to be on the podium for all 4 races.
Wow. And what's more, Ollie Ricks, fastest lap, 2 minutes 17.744 in that one.
Yeah, great job from Ollie Ricks. He, as I said, I expect by race 2, round 2, sorry, he's going to be racking a yellow next to his name and not the amateur blue anymore. And that's no disrespect to the AMs as well. I let them win that one. Did you really, Craig? You know what I mean? I'm smelling something, and it doesn't smell like roses. You know what I mean?
It smells like thorns.
Yes, it does. It does not smell like roses. Steve Evan is your winner. So 1, 2, 3 for Ayres, PVG, and the Momo boys. We haven't seen that for, oh dearie me, a long time. Wilson in fourth. Ollie Ricks taking the AM win with Ralph Cullen and Pete Newman. Then you got Charles Kellerman and Fiona Siddons. Great third place for Siddons, wrapping up that final podium spot. Then you got Colin Sampson, Andy Littler, and then you got the guys that didn't finish. Alan Toon, Craig Jones, who didn't finish there, Mick Barry, Tom Griffiths, Dan Hunt, and Darren McLean. All the bottom three made the mistake of being on dry tyres. So that's probably not the best way to go. But Alex, there you go. Your first experience of rain in the MX5s in race number 4 there. How was it out for you this evening?
Mate, I have to say, from getting the bat phone ringing, well and truly, great to be back in the saddle alongside you, mate. I mean, what can I say? UK SimRacers MX5s always entertain, and that was just a clear personification of that, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. They did an absolutely amazing job here as well. Thank you so much to everybody that has joined us as well. Great to see Gary Walsh back in. I hope you are doing well there, Gary. Shadow Fox back as well. And an amazing job. Craig Jones coming in. I hate the rain, says Charles Kellerman, but who took second in the series and 3 podiums for the night. Charles, come on, let's put that into perspective.
Don't start whining now,
yeah,
okay?
I don't want no whining and whinging coming into the YouTube chat, Charles. Me. I hate the rain, but I wrapped it up. So I had 3 podiums tonight, and I wrapped up second in the rain as well. So, you know, Charles, come on, let's be real about it. But listen, it's been a great job from all of you. Thank you so much for coming in and keeping myself and Mr. Alex Goldschmidt company here this evening. But that's going to wrap it out for tonight. And as always, guys, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.